It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the East Side Real Estate Team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. It is Wednesday, December 11th, 2019, and we are so glad you're here today. How many shopping days left till Christmas? Do the math. It's 11, 20, carry the one.
Yeah, less
9?
than 2 weeks, dude. Yeah, 9.
Yeah, geez, Louise, that's very few. So we are really happy you're here. If you're listening to the radio, we appreciate it. We're also live online. You can catch us on YouTube. You just go ahead and go to YouTube and search 1150 KKNW. You'll see us live. Hello out there, anybody watching. And you can also listen to past podcasts, anywhere podcasts are casted, Google Podcast, Amazon, or Apple Podcast, and the like. And also we archive all past shows on the eastsiderealestateteam.com. That's the eastsiderealestateteam.com. Brian, we got a great show today.
We do.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some great conversations. First off, we have George Florit with MN Custom Homes, and then Lisa Downs of New Aspect Coaching. But as always, before we get to our guest today, it's time for some Real Talk. So today's Real Talk segment, it's about how homes compare as investments for Americans. Also, we'll talk about 3 benefits of today's low interest rates.
So Porch.com, a major network helping homeowners with their renovation project, recently conducted a survey which asked Americans, what do you believe is the safest investment over the next 10 years? U.S. housing came in at number 1 at 27.2%. A savings account was second at 21.8%. Then gold at 16%.
Gold. Wow.
Gold.
Isn't that funny? Like, I can't believe that people would say that the savings account is an investment. That's like a head scratcher.
That doesn't keep up with inflation.
I just think people are thinking safe. What's the safest thing to do with my money, right?
Right.
But it's very telling for Porch.com. Now, Porch.com, for the listeners out there, may not know, it's a local company.
Right.
And they do a lot of things around home ownership. But the one thing that Brian and I use in our business is we'll send our inspection reports to Porch.com, and they'll send back to us a quote of what it would cost to repair those items.
They'll bid out all the repairs.
Yeah.
And it really gives us a handle on negotiating inspections.
There's a lot of great things. If you go to our website, you will run across the blog post on this specific topic, and you can go in and see more information about that specific survey. There's a lot of other great information, like percentage of people that believe home ownership is for them, and it's a good survey. But in addition to the Porch survey, it coincides with another survey done by the Federal Reserve Bank in 2019. It was the Consumer Expectations Housing Survey, and it reported that 65% of Americans believe home ownership is a good financial investment. That percentage has increased every year for the last 4 years.
In addition, the Gallup survey showed that Americans have picked real estate as the best investment for 6 years straight. Based on all 3 surveys done this year, we can see that Americans still believe in homeownership as a great investment, and that feeling continues to grow. 35% see real estate as the best long-term investment.
Right. So I think the option on that survey, they were given what 4 types? Stocks, real estate, gold, and I wish I could remember.
Bonds?
It could be bonds. Yes, bonds. And out of those 4, 35% saw owning a home as a good long-term investment. And I want to, for the listeners out there, I want to kind of stress that as we're talking about a home as an investment, to me, that's always a secondary reason for buying a home, right, Brian?
Right.
Yeah, like the primary reason is shelter.
Shelter.
Right?
But, the pride of ownership. I mean, I think it's the place you call your own is hard to overstate.
Yeah.
That emotional component of your own home.
Yeah, and also some of the things that people get trapped in when they think about buying a home for investment purposes only is they start looking at a home investment as a short-term investment. So they're thinking, well, where's the market headed next year? What's going to happen the year after that? Well, there's a reason why there's a 30-year mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
All right? The 30-year mortgage is the idea is that home as an investment over the years. Brian, are you willing to share how much you paid for your home in Sammamish?
Sure.
How long ago?
$225 about 25 years ago.
$225,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's worth about a lot. lot more than that. Yeah.
He's not willing to share. For me, I moved into Sammamish 2001, $300,000.
Yeah.
And now it's worth over $750.
Right.
And I think about, throughout that whole time, I wasn't thinking, well, what's my return going to be in 10 years? It was, where do I want to put my family? That for me.
And for me, it was, where do I want to raise my kids?
Yeah.
Moving to the neighborhood and the schools that we wanted, that was the number one draw.
Yeah.
And so it's been not only the home that has achieved all of our goals for our personal family reasons, but an unbelievably great investment.
So let's pivot here a little bit now that we've kind of talked about it as an investment. And the interest rates right now are pretty low, and it's a really great time to quote unquote invest in home ownership. So what are some of the other benefits of low interest rates? Well, one is to refinance. If you already own a home, you may want to decide if you're going to refinance that home. It's one way to lock in a lower monthly payment and actually save quite a bit of money over time because, as many know, on a mortgage, the majority of the money that you're paying is to interest. So if you get a lower rate, your interest is going to be lower. So you should ask the question, is now a good time to refinance?
That's right. Another option is to consider moving into a new home, putting the equity you've likely gained on your current house towards a down payment on a new one that better meets your needs, something that's truly a perfect fit for your family. So using your existing home as a stepping stone into the new home.
Yeah, a lot of people, maybe a couple of years ago when the market was toasty, red hot, they settled, right?
Right.
So they got into a home that didn't have everything they needed because they knew the value of hedging against the appreciation that was happening at the time. And the interest rates at the time were not as good as they are now.
That's right.
So you may find yourself in a position where you go, let's maybe get a bigger house. So lastly, these low interest rates are great for first-time home buyers. Many financial and non-financial benefits to owning a home. The most important thing is to find out if it's right for you. You have to determine that, and now's a great time. As Brian always says,
there's never been a better time to buy.
Better time to buy. So that concludes. Brian, what's your takeaway from today's Real Talk segment?
Well, I think the big thing is finding the home that's you, making it your own and enjoying both the financial benefits and the emotional benefits. So if you're interested in this or any other topic we've covered in our real estate segment, please check out our blog at eastsiderealestateteam.com/blog. If you'd like to talk with us directly about your real estate questions, we welcome your call at 425-200-4093. Thanks for listening. Up next, we'll be speaking with our lender for our Mortgage Moment segment. Stay tuned after this break to hear more about the market from Michael Burdick, an experienced loan consultant with Home Depot. We'll be right back.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Would you like to discover how selling your property to a builder can benefit you in ways a traditional sale cannot? Do you own an older property, recently inherited a property, own a rental property that you want to sell, or just want to sell your current home? MN Custom Homes would like to help. Working with MN Custom Homes gives you peace of mind and flexibility. Peace of mind to know that you do not have to do all the things necessary and incur the costs to get a home ready to sell because we buy all of our properties as is in any condition. In fact, the primary driver for us is the size, shape, and topography of the lot. That's it. Peace of mind to know that you do not have to pay any sales commissions to brokers. You pay zero. Peace of mind knowing that we can likely pay more than market value for your property in many cases. Flexibility to be able to choose your move-out date and to eliminate the pressure to have to sell and be gone in 30 to 45 days. MN Custom Homes has been serving the East Side since 2011. Since day one, MN Custom Homes have been driven by innovation and have been obsessed with overall design and functionality that separate their homes from the rest of the crowd. To learn more about MN Custom Homes and to discover what we would pay for your home, call George Florit at 425-830-2777 or email him at george@mncustom.com. You can also visit MN Custom Homes online at mnhomepurchaseprogram.com.
So are you thinking of retiring, but are unsure of what to do with yourself or how to spend your time? Lisa Downs with New Aspect Coaching coaches individuals and couples like you to make this career transition successful, so you have a concrete plan for how you thrive during the next phase of your life. Lisa is a certified coach with the International Coach Federation and has been coaching and developing professionals since 2003. To learn more, you can call Lisa Downs at New Aspect Coaching at 425-216-3015 or visit her website at yournewaspect.com.
There's a reason they invented the internet. It's called 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to the show. You are listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. So it's now time for our Mortgage Moment segment. And during this segment, we will talk about locking rates. We've got Michael Burdick, our regular guest from Loan Depot, and he has been servicing borrowers across the entire state of Washington, right? Michael, are you licensed anywhere besides Washington State?
I'm also licensed in Oregon and California.
Okay, Oregon and
West
California.
Coast.
So maybe someone listening on YouTube right now, they can get some advice and also work with Michael if they need to. So welcome back to the show, Michael.
Thank you, guys. Glad to be here.
Hey, Michael, let's talk rate locks. When a borrower locks a rate with a lender, do they need to close with that rate? Say, for example, rates improve.
So in many cases, yes. The short answer is yes. But there are specific programs where we can do, let's say, a 45-day lock where we incorporate a float-down option.
Okay.
So, if you're closing quicker than 30 days, we wouldn't utilize that option. But there are options where you can kind of see what the market does and have an opportunity to get your rate lower prior to closing.
Does that cost extra?
For us, the 45-day one does not cost anything, but there does need to be a big enough improvement to rate for us to be able to do it. So, it would just be too complex if it's just, saving a couple dollars. So we want to make sure it's worth it for the buyer.
Okay. So how long can somebody lock a rate for?
The typical lock period is, the typical escrow period, which is about 30 days, but we can do 45 day for no additional cost, and then we can do 60 days for a slight cost. So those are the standard options right there. And then we also do construction locks. So if somebody buys a spec home that, just got started, or maybe it's just a piece of land that a builder is developing, and they say, choose the entire house, but, we got to build it. So in that case, we'll get them approved up front, and we can lock their rate for up to 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And then in that scenario, we also incorporate a float down as well. So within 60 days of closing, we can, review again, see where the market's at, and then float their rate down.
So when can the borrower lock the rate?
So that's a good question. The typical answer for that is once you're under contract. So, once somebody makes an offer and has that offer accepted and we get the purchase contract, then we know the exact purchase price, we know how we're going to structure the loan, and that's when we can put the address into our system and lock a rate. But again, there are creative programs. We do have one option called a lock and shop,
Right.
where we can lock somebody at pre-approval status, and it's good for 3 or 4 months, and it allows them to go search for a home. And there's a slight add-on for that where we cap. So let's say rate today was 4%. We might lock it on the lock and shop at 4.125, which would just cap it. But then once they're under contract, if rates have improved, we can float it down to current market for them.
All right. So real quick, as I hear you saying that, right now may be a really good time to do that lock and shop, because Wintertime interest rates seem to be good. The stock market's good, and they're not doing any changes. So I would encourage anybody out there that plans on buying in the next 3 to 6 months to give Michael a call, because he could look at your situation and say, yeah, let's lock and shop. This would be a great thing. I'm seeing a lot of good opportunities in homes out there, so do it. Michael, thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks. Have a good day.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Michael.
So next up, after the break, we will be talking to George Florit with MN Custom Homes, and George will be talking to us about how to sell your property to a home builder. It may be a great option for those that need very flexible terms. So come on back right after this break.
Did you know when you pay rent, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage? Are you tired of missing out on owning your own home? Fact: homeowners on average have 40 times the financial net worth of renters. The Eastside Real Estate Team has been helping many first-time home buyers find and buy their first home. They specialize in customer service and put you first. They listen first to what you're looking for, and then they take the time to make sure their clients understand every aspect of the home buying process. If owning a home has been your dream, the Eastside Real Estate Team can help you. For a free, no-hassle consultation, call 425-200-4093 or find them online at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Are your dog's behaviors not quite what you'd like them to be? You're not alone. DogSmart is committed to helping families just like yours learn ways to communicate with your dog so that both ends of the leash are working as one. They've helped countless families on Seattle's East Side and beyond. Don't waste another moment. Reach out today. To learn more about how DogSmart can help or to schedule a time to meet, visit their website at dogsmartseattle.com or call 1-833-DOGSMART today.
Forum Social House seems to have it all figured out. The new venue on the third floor of Lincoln Square has a multitude of offerings, ranging from the rapidly growing Top Golf Swing Suite and an innovative 18-hole miniature golf course to dancing and vibrant nightlife on the weekends. An extensive cocktail list providing modern renditions on traditional favorites and a chef-cultivated menu that stacks up against some of the best food programs in the nation make Forum Social House a hot new option for locals and business travelers alike. Book your advanced suite now via events at forumsocialhouse.com and be one of the first to experience this immersive entertainment experience for yourself.
Alternative Talk 1150 online at 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW.
I'm Brian.
And I am Dan. Our first guest today is George Florit with MN Custom Homes. George is a Marine Corps veteran. Thank you for your service.
My pleasure, sir. Hoorah.
And yeah, hoorah. He relocated to the Pacific Northwest from sunny San Diego. Why in the world? San Diego's like, yes. He's been in the real estate industry for 18 years, and his job as a land acquisition specialist puts him on the front lines where he's very comfortable interacting and solving problems for people in need. Welcome to the show, George.
Hey, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
So,
happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. So before we get into MN Custom Homes and what you do for them, share a little bit about what your hobbies and interests are.
Wow. Hobbies. Well, actually, right now, my hobbies have been driving around our territory, looking at inventory that's in the neighborhoods of the places that we're building, looking to start conversations with people that might be interested in selling. So
that's your hobby and
hobby. Yeah, that's my
jobby.
Great.
It's a jobby.
My jobby, right?
Whoa,
now,
did I just create a new word?
Maybe we're pretty actively out there, but no, I'm a long-time downhill skier, mountain biker, outdoor enthusiast, fisherman. You name it all. I love concerts, music, live music. Been going to all the Hawks games lately, up until now, of course.
So, George, we'd like to ask each guest to share with us a fond memory of the home you grew up in. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up on the Jersey Shore, New Jersey.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, in a very wooded, beautiful area. And it's funny that thinking about it, Christmas time, we used to go out and cut our Christmas trees because we lived in a barren pine forest, trees all around us. So memories of that are very, very fond of my childhood. Growing
Awesome.
up in the snow and all that stuff and cutting our tree. And so this is a great time of year. It's bringing back a lot of great memories.
Awesome. So let's jump into what it is you do with your jobby. What does MN Custom Homes do?
Basically, MN, we are what we call an infill builder. So we don't build the plats like some of the other larger, D.R. Horton type builders would. So basically what that means is we buy the existing home and we basically knock it to the ground and start from scratch. So we call that infill building. So we don't do, plat type, we just one single home at a time.
So you like subdividing, if it's subdivided, do you subdivide the lot? I see sometimes where zoning is such where you could flatten the home and build two.
Right.
Is
Well, we get a lot of requests, not a lot, but we get a fair amount of requests for that. We don't do it ourselves. We will buy it if you improve it yourselves. We'll buy it, shovel ready, or, basically.
So if the owner does the short plat?
Say again? Yes.
So if the owner were to do the short
If
plat?
the owner does a short plat, we're all over it. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not part of our business model.
So essentially a niche, and it's spec homes on properties, right?
Existing lots.
Correct.
So,
right.
and the reason why I want to specify is a lot of listeners out there and our clients will come to us saying, we want to buy a piece of property and then we would like to find a builder. That's not you.
Correct. That is not.
Right. You guys basically are taking control of the property, building a specific floor plan with specific finishes, and then the buyer buys that when it's complete.
Correct. And we've got several, depending upon the characteristic size of the lot, et cetera, the layout, we have different plans that we reuse. It's kind of makes it
They're
very,
popular.
very efficient. Very efficient.
Yeah, I mean, there are some very popular floor plans that are, you can see them all throughout the Northwest, right? Very standard.
Correct.
So where are we currently with building homes?
In terms of geography?
Yeah, what location?
We are building exclusively in Kirkland and Bellevue. So anything in Bellevue that feeds to the Bellevue School District. So there are some pockets that will feed down south to Renton.
Yep.
We do not.
There are some pockets that also go to Issaquah.
Issaquah as well, correct.
Is that okay for you?
I think we can, yes. Issaquah we can.
Okay.
Issaquah we can. And then north of, and in Kirkland, we're going all the way up to about Forbes Creek.
Okay.
So about 160.
So we kind of hit on this, but give me a snapshot. What are the types of homes that you're building?
They're all custom homes. Obviously, they're all luxury high-end homes, ranging in size from about 30 to 50 square foot up to about 6,000 square foot. And then, ranging in values from about 1.7 mil up to about 4.2 million. So fairly wide range, but they're all higher end. They're not entry level homes.
Right.
Okay.
What are the advantages of selling directly to the builder?
Well, the obvious one is the no commission part. We'll buy the home, and the seller does not have to pay commissions. The seller does not have to pay fix-up costs to get the home, list ready.
So it's an as-is transaction.
Right. So it's an as-is deal. Flexibility as well. The timelines are very flexible. We like to close as far down the road as we can.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they don't have to, spend the money to get the thing list ready or eyeball ready in a lot of cases.
Yeah, there's a lot of trends out there, and Brian and I are fully aware of the industry. Is there are a lot of different ways that sellers and pain points that sellers have when going to market. They're going to get a wide range of buyers coming to the doorstep. But there's a popular trend now. It's called iBuyer, and that's where investors like MN Custom Homes would actually enter into a pool. That's not what they do now. They do something very differently. But essentially, a seller can just say, hey, I want to sell my home, and they're going to get multiple offers. So what George is doing here, George is saying, we're going to come to you direct. And when you come directly to us, you save on your cost of sale and the hassle. What are some other items there, and I think maybe I'm alluding to the time aspect that could be beneficial to a seller? Timing.
Well, a lot of times sellers, everybody's scenario is obviously different. So, that's the first thing I try to ascertain is what's the why, or what's the need, what's the pain point, and then try to direct my strategy towards what that is or what that may be. Some people just don't want to sell in 30 to 45 days. They want a longer term close. And, people that are out there buying are typically looking to get into the home as quickly as possible.
Right.
From what I've seen, obviously, everybody's
30
scenarios.
days, 45 days.
Right. So, we have the ability to say, hey, we'll put your property under contract. We'll give you a sizable earnest money deposit, and we'll close 3, 4, 6 months down the road. They can even continue to rent the property if it's a rental and get that rental income. So it's flexible in that regard.
Right. And to kind of go into the minutia of that is, the contract, goes into a feasibility period, right? So any builder is going to review to see if they can actually get the permitting that they want to build the product that they want.
Correct.
And get the financing that they need to actually build that home.
Right.
So there are little contingencies that go. And then at that point, it could go a couple of different ways. You can close there, or like you said, you could actually prolong that close while the permitting process is going on, right? And that's somewhat advantageous to you as the builder,
right?
Because then you're running into a situation where you don't have to actually go to the bank and pay extra money to the bank. So it kind of becomes a win-win for the seller and for the builder.
Correct. And a lot of times we can pay market or better for the right properties, larger lots, et cetera. So,
Well, see, I was curious about that because if you're going to flatten the home, then are you basing your offer based on strictly the land value? Yeah, I would think that might mean lower offers for sellers, but how do you address that?
The way I do it is we start from the end. So I start with what's the characteristics of the lot.
What do you think
what
you can build,
I build
right?
there?
Right.
And what can I sell what I build for? So that's where I work it from that number, and I work it backwards, and that determines. I have an algorithm and a spreadsheet that I plug in some variables: close date, earnest money, offer, and then it's all based on that end value.
In values.
We call it VAC, value after completion. So a lot of times we can pay even market or more for the right properties because, if an older Rambler on a larger lot, you can only get so much for it on the open market.
Right.
We can pay market and then some for those types of properties. So that's the ideal scenario.
So share again, what does the ideal property look like?
The ideal property is 75-ish, 100 feet or larger, flat, minimal to no topography issues. No what we call nuisances, so we don't want them on busy roads. Power lines are a problem. You don't want the lot right next door to the cemetery, for instance.
Okay. So a quiet neighbor.
Yeah. A $3-4 million home buyer is not going to want.
Right.
You know what I mean? We had one that we had to turn away because a bus stop was literally 50 feet from the front door.
Yeah.
Right. So those are what we call nuisances. So we we account for it, and it'll be baked into our offer, but it'll be a lower offer.
Sure.
We won't necessarily turn it away.
So anything else you'd add to your not so ideal property list?
Trees, power lines, bus stops, cemeteries, smaller lots, and also turnkey properties. We're not looking for a house that was built 15 years ago. Obviously, we're looking for the older, smaller teardowns.
Trees, is that because of tree retention regulations?
Correct. Yeah, and they differ. They differ from municipality to municipality.
They do.
Yeah, it's strange. I'd never encountered it myself in my wholesale and my rehab flipping days.
Have you ever run into something that was just very unusual, big challenge that you guys faced, but got the job done for the seller?
Mostly it's just layout. If it's an oddball layout, we've come across some really oddball shaped lots.
Yeah.
And corner lots are also problematic because you've got setback issues that take into account both corners. So there's two corners you have to worry about setbacks. Clyde Hill is one, for instance, that comes to memory that there's 35-foot setbacks in Clyde Hill, and I had a corner lot property that I had to account for 35-foot setbacks on two corners of it,
right,
which made for a really narrow plan, on the new build. And what we were going to do, if we can acquire the properties, we're going to have to build a fully custom plan just for that lot. So things like that.
So width is an issue.
Oh yeah.
What's the kind of the sweet spot?
It's hard to say. There really is none. It's 60 by 50, maybe 60 by 70.
But you don't want like a 30-foot.
Typically, no.
Because
no.
I mean, your
it's
frontage is usually
35
to 40, right?
And like I said, every lot is different and unique. So you got to start from scratch with you got to pull up the zoning, you got to figure out what the setbacks are, and et cetera. So,
Okay, so before we get to the last question, if somebody's buying an MN custom home, what are they expecting to get?
They're expecting to get very, very high-end luxury home. I mean, all of our homes are fully wired for the home security systems. Everything's integrated. You know, you can control your front doors, your heat, your
So smart
lighting,
home stuff?
smart home type. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Smart homes. Everything's wired smart home, all fully high-end finishes, flooring, etc.
Do you have any available inventory right now?
We do have a couple that are coming to lot.
Why don't you describe one for us?
Say again?
Tell me about one. Tell me one of your homes.
All of our homes, it depends on the floor plan, of course, but we usually have great rooms on the main floor. We like to have mother-in-law type units on the main floor as well.
Nice.
So yeah.
Multi-generational living.
Correct.
Yeah, that's very popular today.
Yes, sir.
All right, so how does somebody find MN Custom Homes?
So we can be reached online, mnhomepurchaseprogram.com. I can be reached at 425-830-2777 and email george@mncustom.com.
Awesome. Well, George, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Do you have any special offers for those special home sellers right now listening to the show?
We actually, we do actually. We have somebody that we come under contract with will have the ability to seek out a third-party attorney to review our offers. So we will pay for that.
You'll pay for that. Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
All right. Thanks again for coming on the show, George.
Yeah, thanks, George.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. After the break, we will have Lisa Downs of New Aspect Coaching, who will be here to share how she coaches people who are retired. Stay tuned.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Would you like to discover how selling your property to a builder can benefit you in ways a traditional sale cannot? Do you own an older property, recently inherited a property, own a rental property that you want to sell, or just want to sell your current home? MN Custom Homes would like to help. Working with MN Custom Homes gives you peace of mind and flexibility. Peace of mind to know that you do not have to do all the things necessary and incur the costs to get a home ready to sell, because we buy all of our properties as is in any condition. In fact, the primary driver for us is the size, shape, and topography of the lot. That's it. Peace of mind to know that you do not have to pay any sales commissions to brokers. You pay zero. Peace of mind knowing that we can likely pay more than market value for your property in many cases. Flexibility to be able to choose your move-out date and to eliminate the pressure to have to sell and be gone in 30 to 45 days. MN Custom Homes has been serving the Eastside since 2011. Since day one, MN Custom Homes have been driven by innovation and have been obsessed with overall design and functionality that separate their homes from the rest of the crowd. To learn more about MN Custom Homes and to discover what we would pay for your home, call George Florit at 425-830-2777 or email him at george@mncustom.com. You can also visit MN Custom Homes online at mnhomepurchaseprogram.com.
So are you thinking of retiring, but are unsure of what to do with yourself or how to spend your time? Lisa Downs with New Aspect Coaching coaches individuals and couples like you to make this career transition successful, so you have a concrete plan for how you thrive during the next phase of your life. Lisa is a certified coach with the International Coach Federation and has been coaching and developing professionals since 2003. To learn more, you can call Lisa Downs at New Aspect Coaching at 425-216-3015 or visit her website at yournewaspect.com.
Wondering what's on next on Alternative Talk 1150? Check out 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan.
Our next guest, Lisa Downs, is the owner of New Aspect Coaching, specializing in career and retirement transition coaching. She focuses on supporting those looking to transition into leadership roles, figuring out what's next in their careers, and considering what potential retirement could look like. Lisa's worked as a learning professional for EMC Squared, now Dell Technologies, the Boeing Company, Pemco Insurance, T-Mobile, and spent 6 years in the accounting industry prior to going independent. In her work in 2015, Lisa is an associate certified coach through the International Coach Federation, a certified professional in learning and performance, and a certified physician development coach. She also certified a number of assessment tools that she uses with her clients in the areas of identifying strengths, personality type, and work style. Originally from the Midwest, Lisa and her husband Chris have lived in the Seattle area for 19 years with their two wonder cats, Gracie and Fletcher. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thanks so much.
So tell us, what do you do when you're not coaching or taking care of those wonder cats?
Yeah, the wonder cats. They are great cats. They're from Yakima, so we always say the best cats come from Yakima.
Oh, that's funny.
So enjoy cooking, reading, travel. My husband and I like to be local tourists in the area. So even though we've lived here almost 20 years already, we still like to get out and about and take day trips and weekend trips. And
It's kind of a fun perspective to have on the city is when you pretend like you're a tourist, because there's a lot to see.
There
right?
is. There's a ton to see, and things are always changing, so it's always fun.
So Midwest, well, we like to ask our guests when they come on to share with us a fond memory of the house they grew up in.
Sure. So I grew up in Chesterton, Indiana. So it's a small town about an hour's drive east of Chicago on the tip of Lake Michigan. And my home was on a 2-acre property, and we had a couple acres of woods behind us with a creek running through it and a huge expansive front yard. So it was a great environment for a kid to grow up in and to run around and have friends over. And you felt private, even though it was a pretty quick drive into town, and Chicago was pretty close, so we could take the train in or drive into downtown Chicago and play that way, or head to the Dunes Lakeshore Park and play on the beach too. So it was a great location.
Oh, fun. Right. So how did you get started in professional coaching?
So I got started with, after working, my first career was actually radio, and after working in radio for a few years, I decided to become a teacher, and so got started in education, teaching high school, of all things.
Wow.
So high school language arts and English and speech and debate and all that fun stuff, and taught journalism. And then decided to switch into adult learning, and so really got started in the world of adult learning, corporate training, workplace learning and coaching back in 2003, and worked as an employee in different organizations doing learning and development and leadership development. And then through that work, developed my interest in coaching people one-on-one, and it really grew from there.
Wow. So the coaching process that you're working with, what does that look like?
So basically, when I work with clients in coaching, it's really a process of self-discovery. And so basically what that means is that I ask a lot of good open-ended questions and to draw out the answers from my clients. And so it's really this belief fundamentally that the client has the answer. I'm just here to tease it out and to help them realize and understand what that answer is and what that solution is. So it's definitely not me prescribing what to do. That's an advisor or a mentor. So it's not me telling. It's more me asking the good questions and leading the client through this self-discovery process.
So who would you say are some of your mentors in that coaching style?
Oh, so mentors. So I have a number of mentors just through being a member of the ICF, which is the International Coach Federation, as well as ATD, which is the Association for Talent Development. And one of my key mentors is a great coach. Her name is Amara, and she's my mentor coach. And I worked with her a lot last year, too, when I had to renew my coaching credential because we have to get 10 hours of mentor coaching every 3 years. And she's been a great mentor to me, just helping me understand and really refine that process.
What are common issues that come up in retirement coaching?
Well, common issues, a big one is, well, who am I going to be if I'm not doing the work that I've done? So when you think about someone who has been a partner in a law firm, for example, for a long time, or has worked at Boeing for 30 years, or whatever it is, so much of our identity can be wrapped up in our work that's a big part of it is, who are you now going to be if you're not doing X at such and such organization, or you're not a CPA at this firm anymore, or you're not a teacher at this school anymore, and what does that look like? And also issues just around time, what the heck am I going to do with myself? Now we know with our longevity, retirement can last upwards of 20 to 30 years, and that's a huge chunk of time to not really have any type of plan for how you're going to spend it. And as I always say, you hear a lot of folks say, well, I'll just spend time with the grandkids. And I always say, well, okay, do the grandkids know that? Do their parents know that? That's not really a plan. And they're going to grow up and have their own lives too. So those are some of the issues, as well as communication. And especially when you have a couple or, a spouse that has worked out of the home, and maybe one works at home, or both people have worked.
Yeah.
And now they're sitting around looking at each other 24/7 going, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
What now? And what are we going to do? So working with that as well in terms of just communication dynamics, because it can be a big change.
And I think about women who sometimes their identity is wrapped up in their kids and their family. That's a tough transition.
Right,
it
is.
And, so that would be, I think, a challenging one as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's a lot wrapped up in it in terms of roles or kind of the hats that we wear. And the role identification is a big piece. And sure, you've got folks who, may have spent that time focused on raising the kids, taking care of the home, making sure all of those essentials are taken care of. And now it's like, okay, well, I've got this time on my hands. We're empty nesters. What does that look like now, in addition to that communication dynamic piece with their partner or spouse?
So the interesting thing is, with all your background, right, in the transitions and stuff like that, how did you set on retirement coaching?
So I set on this a couple of different reasons. One was I was coaching a friend of mine who lives out in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was working with her last year. She's a business owner of about 20 years, and she was having a bit of hesitancy around doing less in the business and starting to transition more into retirement potentially. And in working with her, it turned out she had this real fear around being irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the word she used, irrelevant.
Wow.
And idle was another one. And it was like, well, what do you mean by being idle? And so really helping her through that conversation and figuring out what she could work on and how to transition really hit home for me. And I realized, if Nancy needs this kind of help, then I'm sure other people do too.
Yeah.
And another big push was just my own father. He was forced to retire at age 64 from the state of Indiana. He was an auditor, an audit supervisor for the state. New leadership came in. Everyone in his age group was basically out. And then to watch his deterioration was very difficult for me. And so deteriorating both mentally and physically, because after that, he and my mom would take a few trips, and then it's like he just lost interest and went into this downward spiral. And he eventually passed away of a combination of congestive heart failure and Alzheimer's. And for me, that's a big motivator too. It's like, I don't want to see anyone waste away or feel like they no longer can contribute just because of their age.
Accelerates some.
It does.
I mean, I don't know if there's any scientific fact, but when you're, studies show in survival situations, right? When you're in the sea or something like that, is that by the mental acuity that is what would help people survive. So, doing math problems, stuff like that. So there's that correlation between retirement, this quote unquote, this physical age you pass where, okay, now you're supposed to not do anything, not use your brain, not do, just relax. You've earned it. And I think that, what you're doing is a great service for a lot of people out there could take advantage of just having some great questions asked and to realign purpose, which comes to my question of role identification. Let's talk about how that fits into what you do.
Sure. So there's a lot of research, as you can imagine, has been done around retirement and how people deal with retirement and manage through it and transition through it. And there's a lot out there about how when we strongly identify with our work role, so I mentioned an attorney in a law firm or a partner at a CPA firm or a doctor or a nurse, and we strongly identify with that's what defines us. I am X doing this work. The stronger attachment we have to our role like that, the more difficult it's going to be for us in retirement. It's going to be a more difficult transition because it can be really tough to let go of that. And I mentioned about, working with clients on their new identity, because if they're so strongly tied to that role piece, it can be a tougher transition than someone who's had a lot of jobs over the years, done this, that, and a third thing, had a lot of job and career changes where it's like water off a duck's back, as opposed to someone who is so tied to that role that it can be a real struggle.
So a minute ago, you talked about some retirement pitfalls about your father. What other retirement pitfalls do you run into?
I would say, another big one is just thinking that it's okay just to wing it. I mentioned that 20 to 30 years, that's a long time. That's a big chunk of our lives potentially to be in this phase of life.
Winging it.
To wing it, right?
Yeah.
And so without any thought or idea, really put into it concretely in terms of thinking about, early retirement phase, mid-retirement phase, later retirement phase, breaking it out in terms of, so what are your goals going to be in each of those phases? And how do you know that you're on track when it comes to your time and the life that you're living? That's really important because it's nothing to just go wing, especially when you're looking at a pretty long time horizon potentially. So it's always good at least to have in mind something that you want to aim for because, again, that helps avoid any of that deterioration or downward spiral from that mental and physical aspect.
So what is the target audience, Lisa, that would really benefit from retirement coaching?
So for me, my target audience for this is anyone in their 50s through 70s and those who are, physically fit and active, and so looking forward to a healthy retirement phase, who, see the benefit of working with a trusted advisor. So, ideal clients for something like this are typically those who already work with advisors and have worked with other coaches, so they trust working with a professional who can help them with their goals and what to do to reach those and actions and are used to that type of relationship or have experienced that type of relationship before.
What are the steps in bringing on a new client?
So for me to bring on a new client, I do an introductory call that's complimentary just to see if we're a good fit. I ask some exploratory questions, and then I share the information about the coaching that I offer, and I offer coaching packages typically. And then if it looks like it's going to be a go, I send what's called a new client intake form that also asks some open-ended questions so I get a handle for the client and who they are. And we schedule what I call our first hour of coaching, which is a foundational session. And that's where we go over their responses to that intake form. There's a little bit of a self-assessment in there and really figure out our logistics for the coaching. And then we go from there.
Awesome. Well, that's really good. Some really fantastic information. I think that even I'm not 50, but I think about, well, have I thought about what retirement would look like? Because I always believe in that Covey principle, begin with the end in mind.
Yep.
And I want to enjoy that. I want it to have purpose, right? And I think that we have put this thing in place. So thank you for sharing. Thanks for coming on the show. How do our listeners get a hold of you?
So to find me, you can hop on my website. It's yournewaspect.com. Or give me a call at 425-216-3015 or email me at lisa@yournewaspect.com.
Thank you for coming on the show, Lisa.
Thank you.
Lisa, do you have any special offers available for those listening to the show today?
Sure. So for anyone who listened, you can let me know that you listened, and I'll provide you with a 1 hour of complimentary coaching, and that's a $200 value.
Wow, that's hard to pass. Thank you. So remember that all segments of our show are available to watch at our YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about any of our guests, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join us after the break for some final thoughts and something fun to do this holiday.
Did you know when you pay rent, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage? Are you tired of missing out on owning your own home? Fact. Homeowners on average have 40 times the financial net worth of renters. The Eastside Real Estate Team has been helping many first-time homebuyers find and buy their first home. They specialize in customer service and put you first. They listen first to what you're looking for, and then they take the time to make sure their clients understand every aspect of the home buying process. If owning a home has been your dream, the Eastside Real Estate Team can help you. For a free, no-hassle consultation, call 425-200-4093 or find them online at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Would you like to discover how selling your property to a builder can benefit you in ways a traditional sale cannot? Do you own an older property, recently inherited a property, own a rental property that you want to sell, or just want to sell your current home? MN Custom Homes would like to help. Working with MN Custom Homes gives you peace of mind and flexibility. Peace of mind to know that you do not have to do all the things necessary and incur the costs to get a home ready to sell, because we buy all of our properties as is in any condition. In fact, the primary driver for us is the size, shape, and topography of the lot. That's it. Peace of mind to know that you do not have to pay any sales commissions to brokers. You pay zero. Peace of mind knowing that we can likely pay more than market value for your property in many cases. Flexibility to be able to choose your move-out date and to eliminate the pressure to have to sell and be gone in 30 to 45 days. MN Custom Homes has been serving the East Side since 2011. Since day one, MN Custom Homes have been driven by innovation and have been obsessed with overall design and functionality that separate their homes from the rest of the crowd. To learn more about MN Custom Homes and to discover what we would pay for your home, call George Florit at 425-830-2777 or email him at george@mncustom.com. You can also visit MN Custom Homes online at mnhomepurchaseprogram.com.
So are you thinking of retiring, but are unsure of what to do with yourself or how to spend your time? Lisa Downs with New Aspect Coaching coaches individuals and couples like you to make this career transition successful, so you have a concrete plan for how you thrive during the next phase of your life. Lisa is a certified coach with the International Coach Federation and has been coaching and developing professionals since 2003. To learn more, you can call Lisa Downs at New Aspect Coaching at 425-216-3015 or visit her website at yournewaspect.com.
Alternative Talk 1150, here to uplift your day.
Well, hello. Welcome back to Real Talk on 1150 KKNW. Let's get right into the final thought of the day, Brian. What do you got for us?
Well, Dan, I'm going to share a conversation that Dan and I have been having about part of the basic job description of a real estate broker is, the basic job description is prospect, preview, list, and sell.
Yep.
So the preview part means going out and looking at homes that are for sale to build market knowledge, understand the inventory, have a really great handle on pricing, and being the old school guys we are, we preview a lot. But Dan and I had a discussion about how many homes a broker should preview a month. And our opinions are a little different. But Dan, tell us your story.
So what we're doing, too, is we're looking for talent. So if there's anybody out there that's thinking about getting into real estate or that's in real estate that'd like to join a great dynamic team like ours, come check it out. But we were kind of coming up with the standards of practice. Like how many homes in a month should an agent see? And I said 200, right?
And I said Dan's crazy. I said more like 50.
Yeah, they're like, no, come on, I don't know. And so the challenge was accepted. So last Tuesday I begun previewing homes, and I figured let me see how many homes in a day I can line up with the other responsibilities, because we've got to manage contracts, manage the deals, we got to follow up, do some analysis. So I've been taking 2 hours a day.
So how's that going for you?
Well, since then, as of today, I have previewed 64 homes.
That's impressive.
And that's day great. 9, 64 homes.
Yeah.
So the challenge is to get to 200. Oh, yeah.
So Lisa, are you listening? Found one that Dan wants to buy.
I found the one. It's actually more of a feeling for me for this house, and that's how it is sometimes. But this is, I've seen a lot of homes in my past, but this one's fantastic. It's in Easton Market. It's only 2.6 and change, 2,668.
All you got to do is sign
just
your
a
name.
little bit, yeah. But beautiful home. What I like about how it was built is they took. It's kind of modern traditional. So there's a lot of traditional kind of architecture finishes that are being done. Shiplap, using cast iron, using kind of lighter colors, not the modern style.
Yeah.
And it's just a great, well-balanced home. And I don't know, it felt great.
Very light and bright.
Very light and bright. But I would say the bottom line is, seeing a lot of homes. That's what I've been up to.
Building market knowledge.
Yeah.
So, Dan, what's happening this week?
Well, as we are in the holiday season, we're pointing out some of the really fun things to do. This week is a feature on the Garden Delights in Bellevue over at the Botanical Garden. So there's over 500,000 sparkling lights formed into whimsical shapes of plants, flowers, birds, animals, cascading waterfalls, and much, much more. And it's all within the beauty of the Botanical Gardens. You can enjoy them from 4:30 to 9:30 from today. Well, it started a couple weeks ago until December 31st. There's a cover charge. I'm not quite sure.
But also, they'll have. Last year they had a couple of free nights as well. If you
it
go
was
online,
like the first nights.
Was it?
Yeah. Yep. It was the first few nights.
So that concludes our show for the week. I want to especially thank our guests, George and Lisa, for taking the time. George.
I'm sorry. Yes, I made that mistake last time. This is George and Lisa. We got it right.
We got it right?
Yeah, I was wrong.
What do you know?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, thanks for listening. And final quote I'd like to share. The magic thing about a home is that it feels good to leave, and it feels even better to come back.
Nice. Thanks for listening.